All right, let's just jump right in. When you think about getting rich, what comes to mind? Probably earning more, right? A bigger salary, that next promotion. But what if I told you the real secret isn't about making more money at all? It's actually about needing less. The person behind this idea worked in banking, made a great salary, had a cool apartment filled with all the stuff you're supposed to have. And then they had this light bulb moment. All that stuff, that was the reason they needed the big salary to begin with.
In this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's that feeling of being on a treadmill. You're running faster and faster, earning more, but you're not actually going anywhere. Your expenses just expand to meet your income. It's a surprisingly common trap, and it can leave you feeling totally stuck.
So let's really unpack that feeling. We're calling it the earn and spend trap, and we're going to dig into why so many people, especially higher earners, get stuck in this cycle. It turns out there's a name for this thing, and most of us are doing it without even noticing.
Yep, it's called lifestyle creep. The second you get a raise, what happens? That nicer apartment, those fancier dinners, that expensive gym membership, they suddenly stop feeling like luxuries and start feeling like necessities. Your brain is literally tricking you into believing that these upgrades are just your new baseline, not active choices you're making.
And get this isn't just a feeling. The numbers are actually kind of shocking. A survey from Goldman Sachs found that 41% of households earning between $300,000 and $500,000 a year say they are living paycheck to paycheck. Let that sink in. We're not talking about people who are struggling in the traditional sense. These are high earners, and nearly half of them are caught in the exact same cycle.
So here's the big takeaway from that. If people earning $500,000 a year can still feel broke, then earning more is clearly not the magic bullet. The real solution is a total mindset shift. It's about being intentional. And that's where minimalism comes in. Not as this idea of deprivation, but as a seriously powerful tool for finding clarity.
Okay, so if the answer is a mindset shift, that's exactly where we need to start. This first batch of habits is all about two of your most important and totally invisible assets, your mindset and your time. Honestly, getting these right is the foundation for everything else.
You ever wonder why someone like Steve Jobs famously wore the same black turtleneck every single day? He was fighting something called decision fatigue. See, every tiny choice we make during the day, what to wear, what to eat, which email to answer first, it all drains a little bit of our mental battery. By simplifying those small, meaningless decisions, you free up a ton of brain power for the stuff that actually moves the needle in your life.
And that brings us right to the next habit, treating your time like it's your most valuable resource. Because it is. You can always, theoretically, make more money, but you can never, ever get back wasted time. So you've got to start guarding your calendar just as carefully as you guard your bank account. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your goals, you're automatically saying no to something that does.
You know, this curation applies to your digital life too. Think about your social media feeds. Are you still following a bunch of accounts from a hobby you dropped years ago or from a past season of your life? That stuff is still influencing you. An Oxford study actually found that social media can be a positive force, but only if you use it intentionally. So every few months, do a quick audit. Go through who you follow and just ask, does this reflect who I am today? It makes a huge difference to your focus and your wallet.
Right. So once you start clearing out the mental clutter, the next step is to simplify your actual money situation. This section is all about getting practical with a few key strategies to manage your money for maximum growth with minimum stress.
Look, it's really easy to get caught up chasing switching bonuses and special interest rates, and suddenly you have like a dozen different bank accounts. But all that does is create more work. The minimalist approach is so much simpler. One account for your day-to-day spending, one for your investments, and one for your emergency fund. That's it. The clarity you get from this is incredible. You actually know where you stand.
And that same idea of simple is better applies big time to investing. What you're seeing here is a pretty classic chart. Study after study shows that the average investor does way worse than the overall market. And why is that? It's usually not because they pick bad stocks. It's because they do too much. They trade on emotion, they panic sell, they rack up fees. The simple, boring, set it and forget it approach, it almost always wins in the long run.
Okay, here is a super simple but incredibly powerful rule to put on autopilot. It's the ultimate defense against lifestyle creep. The next time you get a raise or a bonus, commit right then and there to investing 50 to 80% of that new money. Have it automatically transferred before you even get a chance to get used to it.
Your day-to-day life barely changes, but that wealth gap between what you earn and what you spend, it just starts growing and compounding quietly in the background.
Okay, we've covered your mindset and your money. This last part is where it all comes home, literally. We're talking about your relationship with your physical stuff and your spending habits. It's all about making conscious choices that save you money, time, and, you guessed it, mental space.
This is one of the core principles of minimalism in action. Buy the best you can afford, but buy it once. A $50 pair of boots seems like a great deal, right? But if you have to replace them every single year, you actually end up spending more in the long run. The habit that feels more expensive up front is often the one that's way more cost-effective over time.
We've all been there. You spend a whole weekend on a massive spring cleaning. You feel amazing. And then 6 months later, the clutter's all back. It's like it just magically reappears. A journalist for The Atlantic even followed up with people who did the whole Marie Kondo thing and found this was a super common problem. The real solution? You have to treat decluttering like a subscription, not a one-time purchase. A small clear out every season keeps you honest about what you own and what you actually use. It makes you a much smarter shopper.
So, this last habit is all about fighting technology with a bit of friction. Tech companies spend billions making it ridiculously easy for you to spend money. One-click buy, saved payments, it's all designed to be effortless. Your job is to flip the script. Make it annoying for yourself to buy things. Delete the shopping apps. Remove your saved credit card details. That extra 30 seconds it takes to go find your wallet is often the perfect amount of time to break the spell and kill an impulse purchase you are making on autopilot.
So you do all this. You simplify your mindset, your money, your stuff. What's the real payoff? I mean, yeah, you'll have more money, which is great, but the ultimate reward is something so much more valuable than that.
And this quote just says it all. Financial minimalism was never about what you're giving up. It's all about what you gain. When you cut through all the noise, the extra stuff, the financial complexity, the mental clutter, you create space. And in that quiet space, for maybe the first time, you can see with total clarity what you actually want your life to be about. And that, well, that's priceless. So, I'll leave you with this one simple question. This doesn't have to be some huge, dramatic life change. Just think, what is one small thing you could simplify tomorrow to reduce some of that noise? Maybe it's just deleting one shopping app or unsubscribing from 5 junk email lists. The path to real financial freedom, it always starts with one small, intentional step.